All right, hello there, world. It's another one of our weekly Mojo reading quiz sessions with the team. So let's go ahead and get started by introducing ourselves. This is Jani Jailene. She won't be joining us tonight because she is ill, but we will have her in spirit.
Naiji Mitchell.
Naiji Ben.
Nijai Infiniti.
Naiji Glenn.
Neomegas.
Naiji Neomegas.
Nijai Starglow.
What's that? One more time, please.
Nijai Starglow.
One more time, please. Your screen froze out there a second.
Nijai Starglow. Is it working?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because for me, they're freezing.
I know.
Yeah,
I
for me
can
too.
I can actually see Starglow fine.
Yeah,
I think Stargate might actually be through. It's just your connection to the call might be.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think they're.
It may be the coffee shop.
The worst. Yeah.
Perhaps.
And they now have completely frozen.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, are they? They're in a coffee shop?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
they are.
Yeah. Sometimes Hangouts can be a little bandwidth.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be probably 20 people sharing Wi-Fi in a coffee shop.
Exactly.
Right.
I get this problem at Panera's all the time.
Yeah.
They're frozen right now. Looks like, huh?
Yeah.
They've been for me.
As long as there isn't an earthquake, that's all cool.
You know,
If there is an earthquake, hopefully it's just one of those little ones that doesn't really.
Yeah, right.
It snaps back to their image, and they're like, "Okay, guys, we just had an earthquake. Everything's toppled over and everything." They got dust all over their faces.
We have it scheduled.
It's just like the walls are crumbled to the ground. You can see the outside.
Guys, this is recorded to the world, so everyone can hear this one too.
Actually, I'm not so sure they can because it's recording
This
their
is on air.
I think. So right now we might just be frozen.
Yeah, but I don't
The Hangout, I think, is still live.
live feed.
How it is, but isn't it recorded from their viewpoint?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Ooh, that's a
It's being
great
recorded from
question.
this
It is.
point.
There's no such thing as a viewpoint-independent recording. It has to record from someone.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
their video is frozen right now.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
nothing is happening on there, but I think,
Right.
it's all
I
good
don't
for
know.
us.
We'll see how it turns out, I guess.
Yeah. Gives us a motivational watch.
Oh no.
Oh, they're going finally.
They dropped. Okay.
Ah.
Joining.
Can I come back?
Okay.
Hey guys.
Yeah,
Hello.
sorry about that. Something's weird with the internet connection here, but we're back. Okay,
Cool.
so what I was saying is, did you hear the part about how it's good to view their bodies from kind of like a rotoscope?
Totally missed it.
Okay.
No.
Totally missed everything.
None of us heard
Yeah,
anything.
okay. So, real quick, is one of the reasons that we
Still to introduce and people to.
what's that?
Tell Fred.
Still to introduce people to.
Did we leave off when we were just finished introducing ourselves?
Is that
Yeah,
the
we
last
stopped in the middle
I
of
think you froze
introducing
a little
ourselves.
before that even.
Okay, wow. All right.
Oh.
Okay.
It's gonna be a fun
So,
night.
we'll go ahead and just get started then. I guess really that's all we do is introduce ourselves, and then we moved into the little nugget of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so nugget of the day is martial arts. Say again?
Y'all keep freezing.
Why would you freezing?
I think it's the coffee shop. Gabe mentioned that it had something to do with the bandwidth.
Bandwidth here is just not very good.
Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of choppy.
All right.
We'll see if we can just run with it.
I guess so. Is there anything we can do about that to make the bandwidth better?
I think it's out of your control, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless you can maybe connect your with a wire directly to an outlet or something. That can maybe help.
That's probably not a reality.
Can you guys actually, is it watchable what we're doing?
barely.
We hear you now.
No, you're fine now. It's just
It's
like
all right now. It might get
every
better,
so
or it might.
often it's
I mean,
choppy.
What was that?
oh, for me or someone else?
For you, what did you just say?
Oh, I just said like it might be fine now. I'm not sure. It was just for like a couple minutes, like you just froze completely. But like before that, I mean, you're all right. Right now, you're right. You're all right. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then
it might be
I'll
okay, but
I'll just keep going and see how it plays out. Design we should experiment then.
Yeah.
So basically,
Sure.
we like to, and one thing we like to do is watch the UFC fights, and there's a couple reasons for that. Actually, three. One is that they take a rather psychological approach to studying the athletes when they do the profiles of them, a bit more than they do in other sports. Because it's a rather extreme sport, they tend to study the psychologies of the people that are willing to partake in such an unusual activity. So I like that. That when you study the physiological cues of a person, there's a great pantheon, and a lot of some of the even more interesting cues you don't see on a regular basis. You need to see someone usually in an intimate state or in a state of extreme stress. And those kinds of things can really show you some that maybe cues a lot of people don't even know they have in themselves, or they try to hide from people. So in this sport, you tend to see them push psychological, I have to say, physiological cues to enjoy observing at that time, because they're rather rare. They generally only come up when humans are engaged in such a strenuous activity, mind and body. The third reason is it's fun to study body language sometimes, but a lot of sports are not very conducive to the way that they frame things and edit to reading the body language, actually. But in the ring, the way they kind of veers around in all different directions, it's actually very conducive for kind of noticing movement patterns. And so the one we noticed last night was the fight we were most interested in, which is between two Baiji, Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. And the intensity and kind of psychological warfare they used leading up to the match was reminiscent of when Baiji journalists kind of talk smack on each other. And down all of the person's flaws. It was kind of funny. They were like doing psychological warfare by doing like a bad journalistic story on the other person. And it was really interesting to note. It was quite successful. Baiji tend to be very noteworthy in their ability to get inside people's heads that way. Anyway, in the ring, one of the fighters, Conor McGregor, has a very loose and agile style, especially so. But one thing we noticed is that the Bai Mojo athletes, in particular the Bai Alpha, they have this tautness in their energy, even when they're being very graceful, and I believe he's actually also quite flexible. But still, there's a bit of almost like a plasticky action figure tautness to their body and the way that it moves. Yeah, it's almost like, I think you could be seen also as poise, and then perhaps you could also see it maybe in a negative end as being a little bit like uptight.
Yeah.
And so I think it actually has a positive negative scale in general, and then different mojos probably interpret a different way. But anyway, it's fascinating. Does anybody have any questions before we move on?
Yeah, on that, you said that the UFC martial art, MMA, is kind of unusual. I would actually consider like other sports to be unusual, and UFC being actually more normal, as far as like I can see it, because it seems more like it embodies a lot of different aspects of, like boxing is just with the hands. That seems a bit unusual to me. I don't know. It just seems interesting. Like you chose that word.
Well, yes, actually, I think what I'm going for is actually the extremeness of it. So, for example, with boxing is actually considered and that's because most people don't understand the willingness or desire to go in and do combat sports. So in the mixed martial arts, it is more natural, you're right, but I think what people find unnatural is that there is a wide variety of ways to hurt your body. And so to willingly put yourself in that position, I think that's what they find and use without any assistance, sheer cliff, that kind of stuff. That's also highly natural. Humans have been doing that for a very, very long time. So evolutionarily speaking and ergonomically speaking, climbing a mountain without any rappelling gear is quite natural. But in human civilization, very few humans choose to put themselves in such peril. So in a lot of extreme sports, such as mountain climbing, the big waves, surfer, and those sports which naturally tend to predominate, there's other people there as well, they often try to figure out what makes people want to do this, because it seems a lot more dangerous than you need to be, or perhaps for the money. Because there are other ways to make money where you wouldn't have to put yourself in such peril. But for some people, that's part of the thrill.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
But you are right. Actually, boxing is more natural than MMA. MMA allows you to use the body more like you would just out in the wild doing whatever you could do to survive. So in that way, it is more natural. But it's the peril. Particularly in civilized society, you don't see people generally put themselves in those positions on purpose. So I like seeing that. For example, for me, I also enjoy, we watch the Bering Sea Gold, and it's for the same reason. And there, it's for me as a Mojo reader, is similar in that they put all their money usually, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $1 million sometimes into the gear they're going to go get gold with. So they're going to get gold and be big heroes, or they're going to completely bust out. And so the kind of social scenarios that they have with each other, the kind of joyous moments and altercations, they're very, very heightened. And so I guess that's kind of how I like to see it from that angle. And so again, people kind of say the same thing about mixed martial arts as they do with those gold dredgers up in the ice oceans. Isn't there an easier way to make money? And for these people, it's part the money, but it's also part the adventure and being able to tell the story that they did it. So anyway, generally sharing Sea Gold, again, more than other reality shows, they tend to try and figure out what is making these people tick, because it's an unusual kind of person that does it. Oh, by the way, speaking of unusual out there, but not the Mojos we've seen a lot of times, have you guys heard of the show called Yukon Men?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
It's on the Discovery Channel, I believe.
Yeah.
Anything out in like Alaska or wherever it is that they are, and in there, I believe it's a bunch of Nijai guys. It's a family of Nijai guys, and so it's kind of cool. And again, I might start watching that as well, because I have lots of footage of Nijai, but more in like normal situations, interviews, or say artistic performance. But seeing some Nijai guys out tracking deer and whatnot, and have their snowmobiles broken down, it's a different motif.
That's cool.
Right. What's the name of the show? This Nijai guy wants to know what the name of the show is.
Yes, I thought you might. It's called Yukon Men.
Men.
Yukon Men. I just saw ads the other day when they were showing like the major characters talking. I was like, I think most of these are Nijai. So really cool.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool.
And again, you don't you kind of need to see them in the circumstances that lifestyle brings in order to see particular cues.
Right.
Cool.
Equaled the grizzled Nijai in that would look like. Anyway, all right. So that's great. A quick follow-up there, Glenn. Does anyone else have any more questions before we move on?
I just wanted to say one more thing.
Sure.
It will just have to do with like Nijai. There are some Nijai, like even females, where they're like mountain climbers. They're kind of like doing the really dangerous kind of stuff too, and it seems really cool. Like there's some that I can think of, and that seems really interesting.
It does.
It can be really extreme adrenaline junkies too.
Oh, they can. Yeah, sure. On that, actually, glad you mentioned that, Glenn, because there is a show particularly that I watched for that. which is Naked and Afraid. It's another show, I think on the Science Channel or Discovery or something, is they have one guy and one girl on some remote, inhospitable place, something except like one item, 1 days. And interesting enough, they almost always have Xeni guys from like some military survivalist background, and then AgRom ladies from some sort of like, hippie survivalists. So they both have survival skills, but radically different, lifestyles. And it's usually Nijai females the most. And again, I don't enjoy seeing them in pain, but it is very interesting to mission. I have a Nijai with me that I'm wondering how they react in stress and what's the positive, what's the negative. So seeing these Nijai successfully
Uh-oh.
I think
They're frozen again. Their bandwidth is
I
dropped.
thought it was my connection for a second.
Give it a minute.
Give it a minute, yeah, just give it a minute.
Sometimes this happens a lot for like a few seconds. You guys have probably been all
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll still be able to kind of get a gist of what they're saying. We definitely will be able to get that.
Exactly.
Stopping for too long.
I wonder if they'll get text. I wonder if they'll get text off to the side while they're frozen. Like if we all they might still be talking and not know that they're frozen.
Are they in an unusual
Totally.
coffee shop?
We should definitely send them a little message then, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah, I would totally agree with you, Gabe. By the way, they probably are talking right now. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they can also hear us too, talking, can't they?
No,
Shall we take wagers?
not if we're frozen.
Actually, we'll never know the answer. I was about to say, shall we take wagers while walking?
Oh, did you chat us that?
Yeah, we sent
Take, what was that, Mike? Take wages.
Take
regarding,
wagers.
Wages.
Take bet.
Bet on what?
Bet on
Whether
what,
they're talking or not.
They're probably talking.
Oh, they'll come back and be like, "So, did you get all that? What?"
We lost you right after you
like
said.
halfway through the quiz right now.
When did we lose them? When did we lose them in the conversation, actually?
I'm wondering if it might be better if
You were talking about Naked and Afraid.
audio only.
He doesn't like seeing Nijai
Yeah,
and
talking about like the women, females. Yeah.
That show
a lot.
seems interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll have to see
we
it.
could turn off our videos.
I wonder if it might be better if they drop to audio only for now.
Oh, yeah, or just them, yeah.
Yeah, would that be easier, Wendy? Like, do you think?
It's actually a pretty good idea.
Well, if they drop their side and drop their camera, then it won't be as huge a draw on their bandwidth, and it sounds like they're having trouble with the coffee shop bandwidth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about
Looks like
this.
Nice Z. I like that. Good Z.
Hello. How much of what I said did you guys get?
Okay, you stopped right as you were talking about Nijai and Naked and Afraid, and you were saying that you were saying that it's interesting that, and then you stopped.
Oh, just that Alphabet
Oh no.
mentioned they were hunting. Military hunting is where they get their survival skills, where the AdRoms...
We heard that. We heard that.
Okay. I'm not sure what the other thing I was going to say is, other
Wendy
than
made a
it is interesting.
suggestion that you guys should drop the video and just do audio, because that might make it easier.
Yeah, that'd be a real shame.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. See if maybe it'll work out. I'm really...
Maybe you can get.
It's a coffee shop.
Yeah, and we always have in the past.
Yeah, maybe it's nice. There's something weird about it. Anyway,
Also ask them like where the best
spot
where
is.
would be the best place to sit to get the
Yeah,
best
I'll
internet.
do that.
Yeah, that's something to. That would be
So
something.
closest to the router.
They may not know
Closest to the
that.
best.
We'll see if they even know that.
All right. Well, anyway, where were we? Let's see. Let's go ahead and get into the
Quiz.
I would pull up the quiz.
Yeah.
So before we get into it, I'm curious on your guys'
Okay, I
thoughts.
have it out.
how'd you guys find these samples? Because I don't know if this is a bubble you've covered before. I'm curious what your thoughts were in general. Anything?
Yeah, this is not even I've never even seen mixed martial arts. I don't know much about it at all, and I was not at all familiar with the bubble, so I had no point of reference for gauging these samples at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I had trouble figuring out like what samples like I would be like what motors I would really be considering between. Like I mean, I knew like the Durons were they tended to be dominant there, but like I didn't know really anything else about it, so it was hard for me to really consider multiple options and stuff.
Actually, the one thing that I did was I actually looked within the 10K. I decided to go into the 10K, do a search for MMA, and to see what mojos came up more frequently, and that kind of painted a bit of a picture for me to kind of go through the 10K as it has already been released.
Good to know. That's good. In the future, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like I have watched UFC, I have watched MMA as far as like the males go, like seeing them fight. The women, I know that because it's more newer, that it's going to have more like Naiji in it, and also Jinai, and so that's kind of like what I kind of like went to mostly Naiji because it's. First of all, Naiji are just more interested in MMA. You see a lot of them, a lot of Durhams in the MMA in general, but then especially so because it's like something that's new coming out. It's something new that's even more newer than like UFC is like new in its own right. But then the women's UFC, that's even more new. So that makes it so that's kind of like what
it is. I think the Jinai also quite care for the opportunity to kind of showboat. If you're a showboater, it's a great sport for you.
Right.
Yeah, I know the Naiji and the Jinai were very, very full of it. But
I mean,
even despite that,
it actually happened. I think like there was one Nijai female too. I was like, searching in there in MMA.
Yeah, there was one in the 10K.
Yeah. That was really interesting too.
Yeah, one thing also you have to factor in is that the presentation they're going to have is these mojo a lot of being vezzed up, typically.
Sure.
So you kind of have to factor that in when you see them. So it's interesting.
Totally.
Whenever you get to a new bubble, it's kind of noticing the modifiers. Okay. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. And I know Jaileen's answer. She did 4 of the 6 because she got sick and didn't do the last 2, but she did the first 4.
Okay.
Who's first?
Let's see. You have answers ready?
I think they are.
Cool. Okay. Joanne Calderwood. I said Naiji for her.
Okay, Jaileen said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
What's that?
I said Naiji. I said Naiji.
Everyone has said Naiji so far.
I said Naiji also.
Starglow?
Gabe.
I went between Naiji and Jinai, and I ended up with Jinai, but I think it's probably not.
Fine.
You're close.
None of us are.
So Joanne Calderwood, she is a Naiji. So is that, how many people are taking this quiz?
Yeah.
Jaileen, you.
Jaileen. 1, 2, 3.
Did Gabe take the quiz?
Yes.
Yeah.
5 and 6.
What was your guess?
My guess was Naiji.
Oh, did you guys not mind? Did you guys not hear me?
I think everyone guessed Naiji.
Yeah,
except Starglow.
yeah.
Yeah, 7.
Oh, okay, so that's 7 already.
Who's next? The next person?
Next is Carla Esparza.
What'd you say?
I said Naiji.
Okay, Jaileen.
What did she say? We missed that.
Hear you, Coach.
She said Jinai.
She said, Jaileen said Jinai. Mitchell?
Okay.
I said Jinai.
I said Jinai.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Jinai.
And I said Jinai.
It is Jinai.
Nice. Good going, guys.
Next is who?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said Jinai.
Jaileen said Jinai.
This is for Felice Herrig.
Yes.
I said Jinai.
I said Jinai.
I said Naiji.
I said Gina. It was pretty obvious.
I said
What's that?
Gabe?
I
I
said
said
Nijai.
I said Naiji.
Starglow?
I said Nijai, which I don't think
She's-
is right.
No, but you were onto something. You saw Abram. She was Shinai, and she was a very flirtatious Shinai. And just so you know, I've mistaken that kind of very flirtatious Shinai for a Nijai as well in the past. So,
Yeah, we had some of that.
Wow.
although
Yeah.
it helps that in mixed martial arts you can go with the probability that Nijai are very, very rare.
Who else said Gina for her? I heard me and Charlene.
That's two.
I said G9,
I said Gina.
and Ben did.
So, Glenn. Who else?
Glenn and Ben.
Ben.
5 out of 8 again.
All right.
All right, next is Rose Namahunas, is it? I said Gina for her.
Shailene said shiny as well.
Gina.
You mean Gina?
Yes. What did I say?
In China.
Oh, sorry. Gina. Yes. I was thinking Shailene. Shailene.
I said Gina as well.
I said G9.
I said G9.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Jinai.
It is Ginai.
Good
I
job,
didn't hear exactly how
guys.
people said.
You,
Sounds good,
Shailene, Starglow. Who else got it right?
I said G9.
Mitchell,
No.
And me, well,
Ben.
Ben said G9.
Oh, good. Okay, so next is Jessica Penn. I said Naishi.
Shailene said Naiji or Jessica Penny.
I said Naiji.
I said G9.
I said Nijai.
I said Naiji.
I said Jinai.
I said Jinai.
She is a Naiji.
It makes a lot of sense.
Let's see.
Fierce though.
I think I like 4 Naishis on that. Me and Shailene. Mitchell, I heard you. Gabe, did you say
Yeah.
Naishi?
No, I said Jinai.
I think Glenn got it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Glenn said Naiji.
Oops, go ahead. All right. Lastly, Beck Rawlings. I said Naiji.
Shailene said Shinai.
I said Naiji.
I said G9.
Rebecca Raleigh.
I said Vijay.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I said Naiji.
I said Gina.
I said Jinai.
It is Ginai. So that's
Wow.
Shailene, Starglow, Glenn. Who else?
Me as well.
Ben. Is that 4? Very nice.
Awesome.
So let's see. Who should we take the back?
Beck Rawlings, I think, got the lowest.
Beck and Jessica
Yeah,
Penny.
Beck and Jessica Penny.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's put them up.
Okay, let's start with Jessica Penny. Okay, let's load this up.
Who are we looking at first?
We are looking at Jessica Penny first.
She was tricky. I did get her right, but I was really between the two.
Yeah. That was.
Long-
I did actually get that one wrong.
I went ahead and post the link in the group chat.
I said getting it.
Introducing Amazon Fire TV, the easiest way to stream your.
Can you see the HSP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of Kind of
She's twitching there.
twitchy, to the legs even.
Bit of a
Oh, yes,
uncomfortable look
I
on her
do see
face.
Yeah.
She has those bugged out eyes. That's where it's tricky.
What's that?
She does have those like kind of big bugged out eyes.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's part of what threw me off. Also,
Totally.
her face is a bit. It's
But I
kind
don't
of
see her
like
mode of expression going into
her
them.
face is a little bit like longer, which is
Yeah,
also.
long-
I mean, so her eyes were like, yeah.
Good
So
point.
seeing the bifield was tricky for me.
Yes.
Smiled, but she laughed, but it did not go in the
Did not, yeah.
eyes.
That's
Yeah.
why I couldn't see Gina.
Right.
Yeah,
Also look
I
at
noticed that she was really. She seemed very much like a hunter to me.
Yeah.
The entire time. I could just tell that there was. Like, she's very cagey, but she's also very confident.
Yes.
And that kind of inner sort of strength, that subjective heaviness, it kind of showed itself with strong Zai and strong Nai, and that made me think, like, yeah, that seems natural for her. Like, she's very much at ease with that sort of thing. And so that made me go really with Naiji. And also because she's got quite a bit of Zai sometimes, and I think her cheeks, they kind of look a little bit more flat sometimes, but she does have good G as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of these Durams that you'll see, they'll have significant Xi and V development.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. She's like,
Yeah,
the V is like.
both of the Naijis, though, I totally see why they're Naijis now. Like, when I can replay them, I totally... And both of them I had gone back and forth and probably should have chose Naiji in the first place. It's just I didn't have a frame of reference yet.
Totally.
Who's the other one?
We'll see more of these MMA ladies, so we'll get more of a head around it. Actually, we're going to do a few more tonight for the live reads.
Cool.
Cool.
One thing...
Both of the Naijis I got...
a little more, especially comparing contrasting her to a Jinai, she's a little more edgy, but also slinky. It's just a little more, I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that Jinai can't be elegant, but there's something about the Nai Alpha, there's a more pronounced slinkiness that comes with it. Whereas to give the Jinai credit, they tend to have a sturdy, yes, you do, sturdy, and also their disposition in the environment is a little steadier, more sturdy. Cool. Are we
They
good on her?
also have that perfect awareness of the environment all the time that's intermittent for Naiji.
It is.
Yeah.
And she's doing a very good job here with her articulation, her G, but she's not comfortable. The Jinai seem to enjoy the interview experience
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they poise, play it quite as much.
Yeah.
They're kind of macking themselves and talking themselves up.
Yeah. Do we want to see another interview of her, or do we want to try one of the other samples?
No, I totally get the Naiji on her.
Okay. Cool. Let's take a look at Beck Rollins then.
Yeah, and I totally got Jinai on this, and that's just your classic Jinai to me.
Yeah.
It's the Amazon, it's the out front, it's the perfect face, it's the perfect show, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. And anything else you guys want to mention about what you saw in G9 her? That'll be helpful to the other students.
I got her wrong, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
I noticed. I
got
noticed
it wrong.
Yeah,
I got it right.
I went back and forth a lot with her.
For those who got it right, go ahead and say what you saw, and for those who got it wrong, say what you're able to see now, if anything.
Well, for
This is a
me,
better clip.
I don't know. It was interesting because when I first read her, like,
ahead, then,
what really stood out to me was like her eyes were like very like up front, and I noticed the piercingness, And I when I first started reading it, I didn't really notice like the emoting going above as much. I guess part of it was her face, it isn't quite as fleshy, and things like
Yes.
that. But as I went on, I started to notice like the upfrontness of the G, in their interviews and things like that. This one particularly is when I started to see that she was a Jinai with the way she laughed and the mauveness,
Yeah.
clearly flexing, above the brim line. Going into the eyes and just being very aware.
And
And
when she puckers, when she does that lip pucker, it seems very natural and confident, not nervous at all.
Yeah, and
Yeah, definitely.
Gene do as well. Like they'll do this with their eyes. It can make them seem piercing in a way, but it's not. They do a lot of emoting with their eyebrows, like a kind of.
Yeah, that's definitely something I noticed. Like it's very different now in my alpha, like when they make new.
yeah, and Coach, it's like you were saying when you were talking about I've lost my train of thought now. Sorry.
No worries.
When it's shoot, I've completely lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. You jump back in whenever it comes back to you.
I just had a few thoughts. Like I was noticing, she actually there's one picture of her that's black and white where she's kind of like yelling, or she's like screaming, or she's like really amped up. She has a lot of V laser eyes.
Yes.
I can just tell, and she's
That's
got
a good point. That's a good point. Is being able to distinguish between V laser eyes and piercing, and also V laser eyes and perceiver where the eyes pop more. That V. But if you keep looking at that mouth, that's where the main energy is coming from.
Oh, and right. Well, when she, even when she's not smiling, that she's being so upfront, it almost looks like she's about to break into a smile at any moment. Energy goes up into her face. Even when she's holding her face still, the energy of the smile goes up and up through her face. That doesn't happen with Naiji at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what, Starglow, what helped me in getting her on that is the supermodel Genie, because she kind of has that like Amazon supermodel look. In fact, she kind of gives me fourth gear of Agnes Dane.
Yeah.
That's why I said she's classic. To me, she's classic Amazon Genie. Perfect form, perfect face, perfect pose all the time.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of like I could also notice like the fleshiness in movements and the blockiness kind of quality that kind of made me think pilot. She's got that helmet head look too.
She does, and
she does.
True.
And she's very attractive, but she also does have that more sturdiness in the way she moves and just the bone structure, the whole thing that the pilots have.
Right.
I also noticed that when she tries to go unflappable, it does look very much like it's unnatural to her. It's kind of like she's trying to force it a little bit, and it looks really serious.
Yeah, and that's where the riff I got from the supermodels, because they do that all the time, where they do like very little, but like Starglow was saying, the energy in the mouth, it looks like it wants to do more. They're like, I'm a chilly statue, but you know what I mean? Like the mouth's like, but I want to emote.
Yeah.
It's like their Zai doesn't have as hard of a control. It doesn't have as much as influence. Like for Naiji, that Zai can clamp it down. Like
Right.
Clamp it down. And for a Genie, that Zai can never totally clamp it down.
No, and vice versa. They have a brighter eye quality than the Naiji do because the higher ranked V.
But it's both the V and the G because they're both up front. It's like right up, their whole face is right up front.
Oh, definitely. But it seems like the V kind of gives almost like a brightness to eyes, like a luminescence.
Yeah.
And the Zenai and the Genie have more of that than the Nai Alpha do. It's brighter.
I think it feels like V gives a general radiance to mojos that, especially Joe and Alpha have it in their own way too. But like,
it comes out fetishy and sort of like only like like in bursts.
True. Yeah.
She's holding that V quality more continuously in the Winston's.
Yeah. I wonder
Strong.
if it's like the animal magnetism. Like.
It could be. I see a lot of Z9 journalists who have good V that way, and they give like this bright.
Yeah.
There's a story breaking. It's like, ooh, it's you know what I mean? It feels very visceral and pleasant.
Yeah.
But their V is more up front, and it's more under their control than for the Naiji. For the Naiji, the V always has a little bit of that frenzied quality to it.
It does. It looks a little crazy.
True. Very, very true.
When a Naiji goes into V, it's just unnerving.
It's like insane. It's like whoa.
What's that? I didn't hear the last part, Starglow.
Well, they don't have full control over it. When y'all go V, it's totally, like, it's almost subconscious. It's not subconscious, but it's almost like y'all don't have control over it.
I think it reminds me of the most, because actually the Vi Alpha have a version of it, and that Vi G fighter, I'm hearing back feed from somewhere.
We're hearing the feedback from someone else's microphone, I think, because that's you that we're hearing.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, is that the Vaiji for him was knee. He got in the weight stand, remember? He's like, ah! And his eyes did a thing that Naiji do, but it was with knee. It was so weird. But all the Vi Alpha and Ni Alpha, their polar stimulus register, when it does that look, it kind of looks like the way a shark or a bird of prey or whatever looks like before they make impact. They kind of like close their eyes, or their eyes roll back, and they're like in an ecstatic, altered state. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's very altered state, and it's one of the most unnerving things that Naiji and Vaiji do.
Unnerving, cool.
Yeah. It looks very berserker, frenzied.
Yeah.
Berserker. That's the word. Berserker.
Yeah.
And the word that I think of the most is, I don't know if it's a word, but like a sort of energy. It has committed. It has completely committed to the attack.
Sure.
And because there's like a stalking, then there's like a kind of flanking, and then at some point you are completely committed. You're like, you'll see like cats who look at something kind of sleepily, deciding whether or not they think they can make that lunge, and then at some point their eyes change, and you can tell they're like, I'm gonna go for it. That's the eyes. The need. In that mode, you can't pull out.
For the G9, that V though is a little bit more under their control. It's a little bit softer. Yes. It gives more of a gloss or an attractiveness to them than the V does for Naiji.
Yeah, it's for the G9. Totally. It looks like they're having a lot more fun with it. They're just more naturally able to have that fun with their V. Naiji, it's like we travel very long and far and wide, and then finally we get the V, and it's like this really gorge out fest.
Yeah. Now the V is very appealing the way the Naiji do it, but it tends to actually be like sort of a very intense performance piece that is charismatic in that way, but it doesn't give the sense of ease. In fact, that's not its specialty. Its form of so it can in some circumstances.
Yeah, but, and when a Naiji drills down from the opposite sex, when a Naiji drills down with that V, and as a Nijai, I catch the whiff of that V, and it's in a romantic sort of situation, it is like, it catches my breath, and it's about to happen. It's like it has that complete intense. I know this is like graphic, but I'm you know, I'm embarrassing Glenn over there.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's true. But on the other hand,
it's good.
It is. And
I was not expecting that though.
But this is good information. But on the other side, the NES pilots, their V tends to be a bit more bountiful, and it kind of like makes you feel like, oh, like things are going well. Oh, we've got lots of energy in the Bering Sea Gold.
Yeah.
The Nai-Z are like Nai-G this way. They're really strong on the vision, and it takes one crazy push. I don't think any Z-Nai has beaten the Nai-Z yet on a single dive. So I think like Zeke and Glenn have gone in like ridiculous amounts.
Yeah.
And apparently Jason could beat any of the Z-Nai on a single dive.
Yeah, that's right.
But all the Nai-Z, like Nai-G, do not feel like doing
Right, for the G9,
they'll do an extreme dive to show that they can do extreme diving, so they get respect.
Yeah.
But they don't really like doing continuous.
no, see,
So I got the Z9 are much better at running projects on an ongoing basis.
the G9 do more V on a continuous basis as they move through their environment. They use it as they surf with it. They move through the environment. They use it for social. They touch people, get people's attention. You know, they use it as part of their G too. It's like all combined up in the way they articulate it, the way they have conversations, the way they pay attention to, oh, you really, you know, let me touch you to get your attention.
Right.
You know, just the hand. I mean, you're talking about, you know, anything, you know. I'm just talking about the way they move through the environment.
General,
with the V helps them move through the social dynamic.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of like a Nai-G and a Zai-V, who have like they're more weighted subjectively, and they have a much more easier time being disassociated. With the G-Nai and the V-Zai, it's the opposite, where they're more naturally associated. They're more naturally
exactly.
And the case of the, like you were saying, Starlord, the G-Nai, service industries and being like managers and project leaders and things like that, because it does, and the Z-Nai as well, it just makes you feel like this is going to happen and everything's going to be okay.
Yes.
Oh, they're awesome. G-Nai are awesome at de-escalation. They're awesome at.
They're also good at escalation.
Yes. That is true too.
In MMA.
Yeah, they tend to get in a lot of fights as young men.
That's true.
Yeah, they tend to get lots of fights as young men.
They seem to be comfortable starting shit and getting in people's faces.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
are.
But as they get a little maturity, they're just as comfortable because they understand the dynamics. They're just as comfortable at taking the situation down.
Oh, definitely. Actually, on that, a lot of the younger guys are actually good at that too. It's one thing I get mentioned about them, and the G9 actually the most, which is fish are around their wife, lover, whatever, their kids, and their friends at their local gym that they train with. They're like the sweetest, coolest training partner, the best dad, the best husband, and it's like they save up all their G baleful. And it's like, okay, honey, I need to go out
and they get in fights.
Yeah.
They kind of just burn it all up doing that. And the rest of the time, they're like super gallant and nice.
Yeah, those are the guys.
I wonder how many bar brawls we do to them.
What's that? I couldn't hear both.
I was just saying, those are the guys that are wonderful to their families, and then they go get in bar fights on the weekends just for fun.
Yeah, right.
I had two things come up right just now. It had to do with Beck Rawlings. She was actually talking about her. Like I saw in some of the videos she was talking about her family, and I could see her very much like be more homely and be more like a motherly kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And that was really amazing to see. And then I saw like the switch. And then it flex it to the baleful, and then that's like when she's in the ring, and then suddenly she's like really serious, and she gets really into that. And then also, again, we talked about this before, but Patrick Swayze in that one movie with the bar fights and stuff.
Roadhouse.
House.
One of my favorite all-time movies.
So, do we want to see another sample that we?
Yes, I was actually wondering. There was two that I got wrong.
Sure.
There was Rose, and then there was Carla. Carla, I think is more. I think I could see a little bit more with Rose, but Carla was definitely one that I thought was a bit tricky because She seemed
Rose?
really heavy on the Zai and the Nai. Like she seemed like she was really, still. Like I kind of got thrown off. I could tell that there was something about her that kind of made me think Ji Nai, but then I thought that might be just because
She does have a lot of nine's eye, but if you look, she has the full helmet pilot face, and the way that her face scrunches up around the eye area when she emotes, that kind of would help.
That's the first thing I noticed, actually, like a couple seconds ago. I
Is that
saw how they.
We're talking about Rose, aren't we?
I'm talking about Carla actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like I was noticing that she seemed more thicker. But then I thought that maybe that was just like a Naiji that happened to be really, buff or something, because she seems more stout, and I think maybe I don't want to get confused and make myself think that just because she's more thicker that means that she's
Naiji
yes.
could be longer line. I'm muted.
Yeah.
So even when they're like jacked up, you'll notice that tends to be a little more thinness in the neck and wrists and ankles and the knee and the hips. So things that muscles don't change. You'll notice even though they get more muscular, their fingers still stay a little longer. The wrists are a little thinner.
Right. I think like they're more just slimmer in the joints, I think.
And the joints, exactly. So even when they're stout, I would pay attention more to the joints, the bones.
Right. And her head is actually kind of interesting the way it's angled. It kind of seems like it's more like comes out like a little more differently, and so that kind of like threw me off too a little bit. And same thing with Rose. She has a similar head to the way Rose is, I think.
Yes.
That's like what I kind of thought. And then I thought that Beck Rawlings and the other Gina, Felice Herrig, they had a similar kind of body structure as well.
Okay, but with Carla Esparza, you said something about the way she was tilted. What was that exactly?
Tilted.
No, you said something about the way she. What's the comparison you said?
I can't hear you.
Rose. What is it that's similar between Rose and Carla Esparza that you saw?
I thought that they both had a similar kind of. Like I'm trying to pull out a picture of Rose right now to see like what is it, but I think their heads kind of seemed a little bit more like the forehead seemed a little bit like wider, in a way, and I thought that kind of like it's kind of physical, right? But they physically they do look different though. I think.
But did you misread them as Naiji?
I misread them both as Naiji. Yeah.
Okay.
But Carla again does not have as much quite as much as the G expressive awareness, but she still has that perfect smile. She still has that perfect awareness of all the dynamics going on all the time.
Yeah, and sure. I think her G is just a lot more like chill in a way. You know, it's kind of got like that, kind of like the cool kind of G, like that kind of gentlewomanly kind of thing going on.
Yeah, she's the I'm cool, nothing phases G9.
Yeah, the one that's been around the block quite a few times, like that kind of G9.
Yeah, you could see.
Sophisticated G9,
And also self-possession. I think self-possession is a word I might be going for as well.
Right.
And it gives her eyes a bit of a liddedness, and she does have more of the slinky because of that eye.
See a lot of that.
You can see the G up in her eyes.
Yes, good. Definitely, Mitchell. That's what
on the corner, like right there, even whenever.
Yes. Yep, you got it.
So fast.
Very true. Very, very true.
The mental contact she's giving with her face and with her eye contact. Remember, like Jessica Penne, how she kept like looking around and stuff to get breathers. She's not taking interface breathers.
Not at all.
Right, she was engaged the entire time, and that's something that I should have took notice of. I should have took notice of the fact that she was on it.
Yeah, she doesn't drift very much at all.
No.
Not at all. That's what I should have noticed. Very straight up at the camera.
She's doing. Nine Zai.
Yeah, she's doing very micro drifts
Yeah.
while she
Yep.
blinks.
While
She's
she
not
blinks.
drifting otherwise at all.
No.
No.
And that seems to be a very comfortable way to do it for her.
Yes.
To stay out and just blink while she's out there.
Right.
You see that with the Z-Night journalists too. They'll start talking, and you can tell they're thinking as they go because they'll blink, but they don't look away.
They'll get like packets of new information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hershey's just not as big as some of the other women.
No,
But-
and also you can
but
hear it in her
she-
voice too. It's more pinched.
Where-
Do you hear that? Do you hear that Zai pinch?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
What was the word you gave it, Demas? Was it groan or croak?
I don't remember.
But you hear that voice? Actually, it's funny. Going with the extreme sport is both Durhams are into surfing, and a lot of them have obviously a lot of Zai and V development. And we mentioned like Zai faux zen. There's a lot of like faux zen with extreme athletes in surfing. I'm saying, I did what I do when a big wave came up, and I cruised. He just talking about like extreme stuff like it's no big deal, and it had a voice like da 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 da. So do we want? Are we good with her? Do you want to take a look at the other one, Rose? Glenn?
I'm thinking we could if you want to. I'm just kind of worried about the time. I don't want to spend too much. I was thinking maybe we could do a lot of more live reads, like maybe at least 2 or 3 this time around. If that's possible.
Yeah, that'd
Okay.
be good.
Oh, great. Okay.
Nice.
Well, I have 2 samples already prepared. They are MMA ladies. Go ahead. Pick
Great.
one.
All right.
Good luck.
It
Let
should
me know when you
seem-
got your answer, and I'll come back.
Okay.
We've got some practice. Now.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
got our feet wet.
Yes.
Our first target is going to be Charlemagne Tweet.
Just a quick question, Adamus. Are there more Naiji or are there more Jinai females in MMA? Just to kind of see, if, like bubble reading, as far as like that goes.
Oh, your mic's muted.
Sure.
I'm not sure what the difference between the two, but right now they're very, very close to equal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, as far as females go.
Females, yes.
With males, there is a bit more G9 in there. So,
I'd say it's a bit more G9. It's like the males.
okay.
Close, but a bit more G9.
Okay. I see. I was actually going with the thought that there were more Naiji, so that's interesting actually.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah, because it's more
Well,
new, right? It seems, but it's fighting. It's fighting, so yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of the best, like, I think, like, for the males, I remember Coach mentioning a lot of the belts. I think there are more belts go to the Naiji.
That's right. That's right.
Might be true for the females
In
too.
general, at least with the males, in general, the Shinai, there's more Shinai. But when it comes to who's getting belts and champions, a lot of Naiji fill the champions.
Got
I
it.
know for the females, like Ronda Rousey, I think is considered the best.
So
So
Naiji,
she's
as the current women's bantamweight.
And then our number 1 contender is Kat Zingano.
The thing
And
about,
currently her number 1 contender is Naiji Kat Zingano.
the
Sorry,
thing about
Wendy, what were you saying?
What it seems like, though, is it seems like it would be easier for a G9 female to break in because they're willing to put themselves more up front and center and be on camera, because the way you get in is through getting on this reality TV show. And it seems like G9 women would be much more willing to do that than would Naiji women.
The ongoing engagements too. That might be something. There's also kind of Jez Hunter, Pete Pathway way of going at it too. Since a lot of the Naiji also like kind of living lifestyles where, for the fighters, where they're in their gym, they're constantly training, and they're kensing. It's a ken.
Right.
Yeah, it's more like a
Insane.
personal kind of exploration kind
Yeah.
of thing that goes on with
Right,
hunter
but
with
notice,
pilots.
get noticed and get promoted, the G9 would fit more with that, especially the
Yeah,
G9 women.
yeah, they're much
Yeah.
more they're much more interested in like actually interacting, putting themselves out there, making moves, making
Yeah.
plays.
Also
You know.
marketing
Out there,
themselves as
they do
well.
well on the interviews. They don't mind talking on the interviews. In fact, that's one of the things that they really are excel and skilled at. So the Abrams for the women are going to be much. It's going to fit with getting noticed better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're heavily weighted on that. Naiji, they're a lot more like they're more interested in the percolating, more interested in keeping a more low key kind of overall. But then when they perform, they end up attracting a lot of attention to themselves because they tend to
Right,
do
because they're
really really
explosive.
well.
It's the volcano. It's the explosive quality.
Yeah, and it's also because like there's like they spend so much time alone trying to break records and trying to get things done like that, and then when they do finally perform, it's just like it's something that came out of like nowhere, and the people are
Right.
stunned and shocked.
Right,
And
but
they
what
really,
catches the attention is the explosive quality, whereas for Jinai, it's going to be that ability to be upfront and engaging.
I
And
would actually say that explosive wise, it would actually be more the G9. They're more like they're more interested in like I remember Coach mentioned this, like they get into the fight and then just like explode onto the scene. Naiji on the other hand have more of like a game that people have a very hard time tracking. They have this broken rhythm that like they think the person thinks that they're like getting their game going on, but the Naiji will have like this bigger game going on, and they'll kind of like.
I think we're have different meanings of explosive here. I don't think I don't think we're quite talking about the same thing.
You can look at it in a couple ways because, like,
Yeah.
you know that when Naiji, like, when they actually do, like, make, like, a huge aggressive push, it is very explosive. So it really depends on what you're looking at.
It's definitely very extreme. Very intense quality to it.
Maybe there's more of a calculated quality to the Naiji, while the G9 would be more prone to just go at it.
Yeah, they're just kind of like more head first kind of thing.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Genii
exactly.
that are that have the Genii that have their game more calibrated, they can also some of these Genii MMA fighters can play also a very heady game. Some of the less
That's true.
worked on Genis, they can sometimes have a pitfall of using kind of exploding in the first several rounds and then
Yeah.
just they're kind of dead on their feet in the later rounds if their opponent is conserving themselves. But yeah, there are a lot of Genis that have a much more calculated game, and they can kind of balance their explosiveness while also conserving energy.
Yeah, and I'm not that necessarily talking about explosiveness in the way they fight, because I haven't seen any. You gotta understand, I haven't seen any fights. What I'm talking about is that explosive quality that comes out in a conversation, that flex factor, that because
that gravitas, that really
I
epic
can keep it much more smooth, much more all the time engaged, much more repartee with the interviewers, much more on camera and up front and on stage. Whereas Naiji, it's like
They don't feed off the encounters.
It's berserker, right?
Yeah.
Yes, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I see. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah. Because the Naiji will just generally be spending a lot of time becoming good at something, and then when they see that, that can seem like really powerful and big. But anyways, yeah, Adamus.
Yeah, I think you're getting you're getting at the meaning that I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, so our first sample is Charlemagne tweet. Here we go.
Oh, did you send the link?
I got the link. I don't have the link.
Oh, it must not. Yeah, my bad. Here we go.
I don't have the link either.
Glenn, did you get it?
Yeah.
Good.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. He has a really easy time articulating, for sure.
What was that, Mitchell?
I said she definitely has an easy time articulating.
Definitely.
Doing a lot with her eyebrows as well, I'm noticing.
Yeah, but it doesn't look natural when she does it either. She doesn't look natural with her eyebrows. They're not integrated with the rest of her face, I don't think.
I don't know,
Yeah,
I'm
the
having
eyes.
trouble interpreting the eyebrows because they're trimmed in an interesting way, so I'm kind of distracted by that as I look at them.
The eyes look a little bit friendly to me.
Her
Would you
lines
say?
seem long, I think.
Moves around a lot.
Yeah, she does.
What was that?
She moves around a lot.
You're moving
Yeah,
her
I mean,
face.
that there are things.
moving around, it looks a bit HSP to me.
A little bit, yeah.
It's actually hard to tell the difference between either the Naiji or Jinai for me. It's kind of something that I'm looking at a little bit more closely.
Seeing the eyes more with the face now, kind of integrated.
You're seeing the eyes, what, Gabe?
The eyes look kind of more integrated with the whole face.
Yeah, well, one thing I'm definitely noticing is that she just does a lot with her eyebrows. Very expressive.
Yeah.
Does.
Like narrowing them down to the interviewer and moving them
I
around
think-
a lot.
And
Thing
two,
is,
2 minutes
with that
and
Mitchell,
21
I think
seconds.
with the eyebrows,
What'd you say? Gabe?
like
What?
like Naiji, they can use the eyebrows quite a bit too, I think.
Yeah, well,
It's-
there's a difference to the way they do it. So with Naiji, it's more, well, regardless of what it is for Naiji, one thing for Jinai, when they do use their eyebrows, it tends to have more of a motive quality, like they're kind of shepherding the interviewer with their eyebrows, like it's part of their mode of expression.
Right.
With Naiji, it doesn't tend to happen as much. Or
I think I follow what you're saying. It's.
I wasn't saying anything about her, by the way. I was just.
What about as far as like
I don't know,
how
it's
engaged
interesting
she
because
is in the person, like how often she maintains good eye contact versus breaking away? Like how, like what have you noticed as far as that?
Feels like
Glenn,
a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Huh?
she's looking very eager to go back and forth with the interviewer. When the interviewer was asking questions, I saw a lot of close face contact and drinking it.
But
Right.
she also does look away and get off of the interviewer and drift away.
She's doing that a lot. A lot of this drift away.
I mean, the eyebrow thing is really just constant. I mean, she's just always like.
She's got a big smile. I got it paused here. And
This and this.
I
I don't ever do that with my face. My eyebrows don't.
In about 2 minutes 21 seconds, you see the whole ginormous smile kind of.
exactly. That's exactly where I'm paused too. That's exactly where I'm
to
paused.
move on.
221.
221. That's the time. And it looks like it's going into the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And she looks like a lion kind of face,
So this is-
lioness kind
Any
of
of that
face.
I
eyebrows
see
aren't over it.
219. I see 219. Should we bring it to 221?
Yeah, 221. You'll definitely see something.
Like,
There's your smile.
she does move around a lot. I mean, the thing is, she and I also have some HSP. It's not like they're
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
comfortable for
they
them.
have
there's a
navigation
little-
powers.
It's just less.
Still.
She moves a lot.
There does seem to be a little nervous energy with them, but they seem to be.
There's definitely nervous.
A bit more comfortable in their environment, though. Yeah.
They are
For
more
sure.
inclined.
Oh,
More
yeah.
than IG, but that doesn't mean they have no nervous energy.
They seem to be a little more playful with the nervous
Right.
energy. Like they slink around and they kind of, they dance a little bit to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Gina, they're
Are you guys ready to move on to another video?
sure. Yeah,
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah, we watched all the way through that one.
Okay.
We can do that.
I believe I just posted it in chat. So.
In this one, she stays in full animation almost entirely without. She's not. She looks a little more comfortable.
and better for the fighters, in my opinion, to fight at a heavy like the fighters feel tired, they great, and then
Yeah, I agree. I'm also seeing like her eyes seem. I'm seeing more like constant V than like you would see with the Naiji, where it'd be more extreme when it
I
comes out.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I see that too. I'm seeing a lot of openness.
yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people
I'm also seeing the tensioned version of the rounded hands that is for that the Abrams do. The directive Abram does the tension version of my Gumby Claw, and it seems like she's doing that. Does anybody else noticing that?
Well, she does have definitely a very percussive gesturing.
Yeah, kind of.
Because Infinity, you know what
That's
I'm talking
definitely
about?
how it.
Like,
I kind of do. Yeah.
There-
It's sort of
the
what
direct-
we do, but it's more direct. It's more.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Oh,
Would
it's
it be
just-
more like a directive fleshy claw kind of? It's got
Yeah.
the V in there.
That's more
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like
oh yeah,
the
that
Gina
is true though.
actually.
It's
the Gina I have.
yeah, considering it's different powers, but yeah.
it's like a tensioned version of ours, Infinity. Have you looked at that?
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. I just wanted
Tension
to.
then if you guys had and if like with V instead of me.
Yeah, it's more visceral. It's more like
But there definitely are some comparisons you can directly make between the two. I mean, it's different powers, but yeah, I can
The
see what
maneuver
you're
is,
saying.
is similar. Like
Yeah.
I don't quite know how to explain it, but like their shepherd's claw is like my Gumby claw only with tension. If
Tension down to the very
It's an
fingertip.
interesting thing to observe.
it's hard
Yeah.
to I thought too. So, it was nice having him up. I learned a lot. I made a a lot of good friends. Actually, you'll see a lot of media right now coming from you, Maureen Riordan, who's
Yeah, it's almost Directive Gumby.
Yes!
Very interesting.
Exactly! Directive Gumby!
That's actually more the Vez pilots though that have that because they have.
Yeah, because we do normally like when we say like it's like hard, like when we say like something is hard Gumby or something, we're normally referring to like
you really
Right, they would actually be Gumby. But do you mean kind of like a direct
Like, it's Gumby.
doing all
If
this.
you're just referring to the claw, like the kind
Yeah,
of circular,
it's
that's the objective cadence. That is similar.
yeah, objective cadence with sort of a pseudo Gumby-ish thing going on.
Yeah, it's not soft like Gumby, but it's
It's got
rounded.
less viscosity.
Ready to go.
Right. Yeah, it's a harder Gumby. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's fleshy though. It's V. It's
Yeah.
not like me. That's an
For
important.
sure. Yes. Good
So
point.
it's like the Gumby claw, except it would be more like fleshy,
More,
and it's also got a lot more of a tightness in the joints, and like there's a lot more like a tension in all the movement, and it's faster and it seems more easier.
Yes, well,
And it has it's less viscosity to it.
it's the earthy piece. It's
Right.
it's the earthy it's the V earthy version, and more tensioned. You know, I don't know how to explain it.
we know what you're getting at.
Explain what I'm seeing.
Yeah. She's just so expressive with her face. Her whole face, I feel like goes into
yeah, I agree.
expression. Always, even like
Yeah, especially in this
eyes.
video.
And in this particular interview, she's not conventionally attractive, but she knows how to use her makeup exactly to best highlight her best features.
Well, you know, a lot of attractiveness is how you actually animate the body you have in the first place.
Very
You
true.
know,
that's
Very true. Yeah. It's more about like the inner kind of like energy that you have, like how whether
Right,
you're
exactly.
peaking,
At least for me, that's what I find attractive is how the person actually is animated, rather than
Yeah.
just their static
the
appearance.
superficial kind of stuff.
Very good point.
Yeah.
That's very important.
It's like worshiping a statue when you're obsessed with how somebody looks in a magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I totally understand.
but she's completely aware of how she looks. She's completely aware of
Right.
how to best use what she has to the best advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to win on points.
I think Xi just generally is very aware in that way.
Well,
She's
Xi
definitely
with
got that quality to her.
G with
She's
the
like-
with the more comfortable use of V definitely has to have that G with a sensual quality.
Sponsors you want to mention?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, more sensual is yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely a sensual quality that kind of works alongside G.
Yeah, because V is a reach, but it's not a huge reach for them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What's kind of her face looks similar to one of the other reads that we just did. I think it was a Naiji, Jessica Penn, was it? She kind of looks similar in terms of like the face, but it's different because with Jessica, she was a lot more reserved, a lot more, she's an IG, so she's got that quality to her.
More.
With Charmaine here, she's a lot more engaged, and she's got a lot of articulation, a lot of back and forth going on between the interviews.
Like she's very with it.
Definitely. Yeah, with Jessica Penn, I saw a lot of monologuing with her. Like she was she'd be asked a question, and then she, lean back, 1,000-yard stare, then kind of get into a monologuing thing. And then after the monologue, that was it. With Charmaine, I see a lot of this eager bantering where she finishes doing what she was saying, and then she's like really ecstatic to hear the interviewer's response.
It's the repartee. It's the Avram repartee.
Yeah, the push and push
Right.
back. She's really engaged by the conversation, getting
Yeah.
involved in all that sort of stuff. It's really energizing for her, in and of itself.
Yes.
Would you guys be interested in another video?
I think I want to call it
I
actually.
think we're good.
I think we're
all
pretty
agreeing.
I think we're
Yeah.
on the same page.
Yeah.
there, for sure.
Okay,
Right.
we're ready to call it.
We got
Our guess is G9.
confirm my answer. You guys know?
How much are in favor are we for G9 as opposed to Naiji? Is it like an 80, 80,
G9 first
20?
guess.
What's that?
Is it like I was just like wondering like how in favor are we towards G9 versus Naiji?
That's
Is it
my
like an,
guess.
That's a good question. I'm pretty confident.
is it like a 70-30, 60-40? Like where is it? Like as far as like the 49-51 if it goes.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have the numbers on that.
Yeah, I think the first we can go is probably just stacking the hierarchy of the guests. So
First guess Sheena, second guess
Definitely.
Naiji.
Yes.
Nice.
okay. Well,
Alright.
I believe that she is a Naiji.
Okay.
So
Wow. Okay.
Ah, see, I was seeing it. I was seeing something. The
all right,
longer
a couple
lines.
things here. I'm seeing the freeze frame. She has the longer lines. That's correct. And if you look at the way that she's staring, it's a little more bug-eyed with the V. Now, something that
Yes.
something that Demas was noticing with G9 is she has, I think, more of a bantery style.
Yeah.
It's important to notice that some Naiji do a lot with comedy in their interviews. You may notice that from different sports. So I think Jessica Pena was of the Naiji variety that doesn't really do the bantering, whereas she does. Also, her movements are a little more darty, like slinky darty, and the V adds more of a dartiness, which makes her seem, and she's more animated, but I don't think it's actually the comfortability that an objective would have.
Yes, I would totally agree. I was actually thinking about Naiji in the
We
beginning,
thought
and I
she
think
had a
Starglow was
nervousness
too.
to her, the way she moved.
Did you see how she did her head toss there when she did her jut? When the G9 do it, it tends to be like a reassuring, like, yes, that's what I'm saying. When she did it, it had like this, almost like she's like shaking something off, like a dog shaking water off.
That's what we were seeing in the first video. I saw more of that in video number 1 than the second.
Her body movements is a little more jarring.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah, that is
uncomfortable.
true. That does
It's like
a lot of
an
that.
itchiness to her.
Another shrimp on the bobby.
Wow.
The fine tuning between the Naiji and the G9 for the women is going to be difficult.
It sure is.
But it's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of reward to it as well.
For sure.
For sure.
All right, next up.
All right. Damn it! I had it. I let you guys sway me. You guys.
Well,
I know. I was
like,
thinking
like,
Naiji also.
like when we were think about Naiji or Jinai, like I held to Naiji, like so you could have kept with it.
Yeah, but too, because I was seeing an awful lot of HSP in the beginning too.
Exactly.
We did notice that.
Yeah.
We were noticing that.
It was Mitchell.
Yeah,
kinda like-
the frenzied eyes.
It was like a
We were talking
bob
about
and
like the eyebrows.
Yeah, right. We were talking.
But her face, you could tell that she's got more of an unflappable kind of look into her cheeks, doesn't it? Like she's more comfortable with the design in the cheeks. I could see that.
You're talking about her now? You're talking about person number 2?
You're talking about.
Charmaine. I was talking about Charmaine.
Oh, okay.
No,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I started the next sample.
All right. Okay. Cool.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's like when we've moved on already.
Tisha Torres?
Very excited, very honored, and it's a lifelong dream.
I'm seeing a lot less of the head movements. Just more of a straight up. she's having a
What was that?
really easy time articulating.
There's a lot of drifting. Even though she's really good at articulation, I'm seeing a lot of drifting.
Was there a lot of girls that were doing it at that time, or was it
All boys. When I started in '95, there was no girls at all. I would compete. It would just be tall and short. I'd always be short. But all boys. I was the only girl. I didn't quite try. So I was really. I think that's what made me the tough girl I am today. Because I trained with boys, and then as a teenager, I still trained with men. And then women started doing it, but they would just do the kickboxing aspect, not so much for fitness. They would do it. They wouldn't do the hard stuff. So I've always been.
I'm only able to look at images right now, but she seems tricky. Like it's hard to place her exactly.
Yeah, I'm still thinking on. I don't really have a. I'm still tracking her right now. See what
Yeah, still kind of drinking her in, right?
Yeah, I'm getting nothing
Yeah.
so far.
Could it be possible that maybe she's not a Niger GI? I would think not likely.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking directive
I am too.
Durham, you mean, right?
for sure.
Yeah, Durham.
Yeah.
She seems pretty unflappable, like pretty thigh heavy to me.
I think I think what you're noticing is maybe that she's self-possessed, right?
I don't
She
feel
seems-
there's not like a whole lot of expressiveness. She's not doesn't seem
Yeah,
like
she
fully
doesn't allow
engaged.
any of her. It's like I was saying earlier. Her thigh is pretty clamped down on her emotional output.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. She seems to be kind of taking this in a very just like regular conversational type way. She's not bringing a lot of like flair to it. So
I think what you're noticing, Ben, might actually be like the way Jean and I are more comfortable in just
yeah, but
articulation.
in this one, I mean, she doesn't seem to be like interacting like with her G as much as I would expect.
Maybe, yeah. I think.
No, that's
I'm
what I think it
undecided.
is. Like,
Yeah, to be honest, I want to see a bit more with her before I kind of push any direction forward. Are you guys ready to check out another video?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do another one. And y'all take a look
Oh,
at her pictures.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good to have her pictures up too.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures at the same time. So if I'm doing it, then you guys should do it too.
Okay, so loading the next video.
Obviously. She also seems awfully Kinsey.
What was that storyboard?
She seems awfully intent on Kinsey mastering her skills.
Oh, in terms of what she's saying?
Yeah. And proud of the fact that she's mastered her skills. Which, you know, G and I can go, you know, they can talk smack on their skills too. It just,
Okay, that one didn't this long. What do you guys think after seeing that one though?
anybody need to see more?
Well, personally, I'd like to see more. How do you guys feel about
Maybe
that?
one more.
I think we could see more.
I would-
That
I
one was a
think
bit. That one was a
15
bit
minutes left.
short.
Unless we want to do another one after
One
this.
more.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Okay. Dropping in the chat. Here we go.
I still haven't been able to even finish the first one.
picks on your list for her skills? Yeah, for sure. Her being lengthy, we wanted to try to speed up her legs a little bit, but you? Good roundup. I'm here with Keisha Torres. Keisha, congratulations on your victory over Rose Namajunas, previously undefeated. Thank you very much. I'm still undefeated. Of course. Thank you. Yes, you should. Undefeated. You guys kicked off the undercard. Super exciting. Who did they put you guys? I'm sorry, kicked off the main card. Who did they put you guys in the second? Yeah, for sure. You know, it was definitely an honor to be on the main card. You know, hope it's clearing out, hope to be on the main card, and you know, it's get more and more exciting. But I definitely think they knew that me and Rose were going to bring it. Sure. So Rose, the last fight was 12-second arm bars. Did you think that she was going to stand with you? I honestly thought that she might, and she might not, because she was just saying it, and then she was talking me down. But she stood with me, and it was fun, you know. We were just on the stage mostly the whole 15 minutes. So I think the fans liked it, and I liked it, and Rose said she liked it, so it was cool.
Oh, did someone just leave?
No. Well, yeah, so.
I don't think Glenn.
Oh, Glenn.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Glenn's gone.
No. But he did.
Maybe I'm crazy. I'm just not seeing much. I'm not really seeing much G there.
I'm seeing an awful lot of Zai clamp down.
That could be too. There's not a whole lot of expressiveness.
Animation.
Right.
All the videos she was kind of.
The second one, she seemed a bit more animated to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot more, like really expressive about like what she was talking about, I guess. Like towards it, as opposed to just general expressiveness.
Okay.
You talking about Glenn when she was talking about her skills and everything and what she's passionate about?
Yeah, that video, yeah.
That's what I was talking about. That's why I was mentioning how much she seems Kensei to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these, I think both Durams can do that though, and like.
Yeah. I don't. That doesn't. That's not really very relevant.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. Because both can.
Themselves like that.
I'm sure they could easily
Could do what?
talk Kinsey stuff. You know, really show their mastery.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Really, any mojo I think can do the Kensei thing. It's just that it tends to be more easier for some other mojos.
It's a specific way that
Yeah.
Durham
To talk about it.
Particularly Naiji has kind of a fascination with that.
Yeah.
And Naiji talk about it differently than Jinai do, generally, from what I can tell.
It's interesting because on camera, I mean, because this entire this bubble, I mean, you'll see a lot of like bragging about like what you're doing and like where your mastery is at. So it's kind of difficult because like normally you'd be able to distinguish because like a lot of times Naiji will be kind of secretive about things, but like in this bubble, like it's you know, you'll see a lot of like bragging about what you can do, like no matter like what mojo you are. So it's
that's true.
So
Yeah,
it's interesting.
That's true.
It more comes along with the territory that you have to be this sort of way.
Yeah. It's more vested out.
Yeah. Overall, I think listening to what a person has to say is not necessarily the best way to read them, especially the first time. It's best to just go with like the physiological cues.
Really, of course, they stay conscious of it, but yeah.
Okay. So.
But once the read has been confirmed, then you can go back and check to see like, you know, like what kind of a, you know, what mojo, what do they say, and like how that relates to their
it's
story.
relevant in that it's part of their story. So when you're kind of like it kind of helps you get your head around like the conversation as a whole, which in turn can give you insights on the mojo and things like that. Not that it's like directly relevant, but it's good to just be conscious of it, I guess.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys actually want to see more on her?
Really, to how they
Yeah,
tell
I
the
haven't-
story has a lot of fifth gear to me. How they tell their story.
Exactly. The way it sounds, the way they talk, the little
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Sparkle's not really talking about what she's saying as much as how she's saying it, I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she has.
How she's saying it.
There's a certain passion that only comes up when she's talking about her Kinsei skills. If it makes sense.
It's certainly something to know.
There's like vocal cues that you can pick up on.
What do you guys think about other things?
I don't know. I noticed that she has like a really, really thick,
Frame.
bardic voice. And of course, Naiji do this too. Like right now, I kind of have a very thick voice. But it seems to be more constantly thick and constantly bardic.
Yeah, definitely the constancy I notice. Just like just a steady stream.
An awful lot. She drifts an awful lot. She drifts more than the Naiji we just saw.
I'm noticing just from the pictures that she seems really, like I said it before, I'll say it again, self-possessed in a way. She seems really like has that quality to her where she's
Kind of contained, like she's not real out of control. She's kind of contained herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Stronger containment.
Yeah, self-possessed is really the best word to describe it. I mean,
Great word to describe what you're talking about. I agree.
yeah.
I'm definitely noticing that.
Yeah,
Do you guys
I agree. That's a pretty good
take a little
description.
more at her? Take a look at some more of her, like a
Yeah,
tiebreaker.
Yeah, we've got some little more time. We can do that.
Yeah, I want to do that because I never got to even see past the first video.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that makes sense. That's important. Yeah. We've seen 3 videos thus far?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is number 4.
Okay.
Thanks. What's Coach doing?
She seems awfully uncomfortable in this interview.
Really good, you know.
You could see that a little in her eyes.
Very humble. Oh.
Yeah, the videos don't seem to be working for me.
Interesting. The one that I linked to?
Yeah, the last 3 haven't worked at all.
Oh.
The first one worked. I kind of saw like 1 or 2 minutes of that, but I've mostly been looking at pictures.
Oh, do you mean one of the videos that we looked at earlier, and not this 4th one?
This 4th one. Well, hold on. It's working now. Okay.
Mm.
So are we ready for guests? I'm gonna put it out there. I think she's a Naiji.
Probably where I'm leaning.
I think she's got too much HSP. I think she drifts too much. She's got good use of her G, but she's got a awful big Xi clamp down. I could be wrong, and I'm new in this bumble, so y'all can feel free to disregard everything I've said.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna look at some pictures of her first.
Yeah.
Before I make my final. That's based off of that in context of this. I think I'll make my final determination.
Never seen that like.
It's so weird. I'm getting conflicting ideas about her.
To me, she doesn't have the perfect smile.
I feel like it's really hard with her, but I kind of feel like there's some. I feel like she reminds me of Esparza.
Which one?
Esparza.
Carla?
Carla Esparza,
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, you know.
It does.
Man, I'm having some difficulty with her because.
She's got those cheeks, right? That kind of like.
Yeah, I think I remember. I think I got the same look you did earlier on in one of our other interviews. Yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying. Although it is different. Oh, just because she's a different person. I mean.
And her cheeks, they just seem like they got more of a.
She doesn't do as much emoting.
Exactly, that's the thing, right?
Right. Yeah, that is true.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
You look at a picture of every picture, like the eyes, and she's much more like spread up.
The fact that her Xi can so tightly clamp down makes me lean again in the Naiji direction instead of the Jinai. I mean, it's the same powers, but.
Do you think she really is clamped down?
Yeah.
I think she's got like strong Xi. I wouldn't say it's like clamped down.
Yeah, I'd just say it's kind of.
Regardless of whether it's clamped down or not, she's not doing much emoting.
I think we can agree that this is an unusually low amount of emoting.
At the very least, it's Xi heavy. It may not be clamped down.
Right.
Yeah, we can definitely say Xi heavy. I think we should.
It's Xi heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because unusually low emoting for Naiji
I
is like.
contained. That's what I said. I just can't get that out of my head.
It's weird because in like most of the interviews, I thought I was seeing full-faced emoting, which is weird, like just constant. But
yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Voice.
The thing is, like, I kind of think Naiji because she's got like the more Xi to her, but then I kind of think Jinai because she seems more like thicker with her body. It kind of makes
that's what I'm noticing too. The thickerness.
Yeah,
the body.
Her body, just like physiologically.
She's been saying in this physical sport with weights and heavy duty lifting since she was preteen.
Yeah. There are
that matters. Yes.
Sure does.
But it's more genetic. The way her body looks, that's kind of like what I'm looking at. But it's kind of like I'm kind of not quite sure.
The eyes look kind of hungrier in some of the still photos.
She seems very ornery to me.
She seems very what?
That's actually really.
In the photo, she looks pretty comfortable. Like in her eyes.
Do you think that could be maybe like
you'd see with
faux like faux yin, faux like zen kind of quality that she might be portraying? Like she's not as comfortable, but she's trying to play it off like she's more comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And she's a woman, y'all, so she's gonna have had to work on her offside powers more because directed is not as accepted for women.
That is
True,
true.
but men are also supposed to be logic-based and literal.
Oh yeah.
So
So
the
it's
drama-
different
Right.
aspects of
That's
it,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the values-based interpret thing is, I think, is more accepted for women than it is for men. I think.
Particularly values-based. But
Particularly that, yeah.
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 Interpret is kind of a.
Seriously, because the first charge always leveled at women is you're too emotional, you're crazy, you're nuts.
Yeah. I think in general those powers get like a bad rap too.
Okay.
What about her eyes? I like that Gabe mentioned her eyes. It kind of got me thinking about her eyes a little bit more.
Some of the stills, the eyes have a bit more of a hungry quality than you see in the videos.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
think you're right.
I'm looking at that too.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm seeing more Nye in the eyes and the stills for sure.
And even in the stills as well, now that we're mentioning the eyes, you could also talk about the mouth. I'm not.
Yeah, the mouth doesn't jump out.
I'm not seeing like a lot of mouth energy in any of the pictures.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely right, Mitchell.
That doesn't mean. I mean, maybe I'm just not seeing it. But
Yeah, you know what? I think Naiji does work better.
That's
always drawn to her eyes and
the
every.
direction I've been leaning the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
But like I don't want to be
Still
sure
Gina, though.
on the last one. We
Gina does kind of still linger there.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I still feel uncomfortable with both.
I have more
With
questions.
either or, right?
I waffled more on the last one too.
What's making people uncomfortable with Naiji? I'm curious. Because I'm definitely thinking that way.
It's something about.
I don't know. I'm seeing full face emoting, even in the stills. Like, although I can't see what you're saying though, Mitchell. with
Yeah.
The hungry
full
aspect.
face emoting? Where are you seeing
Yes.
full face emoting?
Her face.
Or I
in the
think-
stills and
No,
in the
but like
videos.
Or maybe it's not full-faced emoting. Maybe
But I
it's
mean, the
more-
emotional energy seems to be coming from the entire face.
I think unifield face is what you're getting at.
Yes.
Right.
Which
it's like when I
is
look
full
at
face
Carla
emoting.
Esparza, that's something you mentioned. I mean, I can much more clearly see with her the emoting go up into the like.
The full face, the entire face.
Whereas with
including eyes.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that same crinkling.
She seems
I'm
like,
not.
like a really gravitas.
What about gravitas?
She seems gravitas. Well, really, really gravitas.
Well, yeah, that's a world view.
That makes me lean more towards Naiji though.
Yeah.
With the gravitas.
Gravitas is the Nye and Phi thing, particularly Phi actually, but
That's a hunter quality. The gravitas.
the seriousness that comes from the world view.
But
Yeah.
Carla Esparza was also gravitas. She also had that kind of quality to her.
Okay, but that
So
comes
kind
from
of.
Nye.
Yeah, that is true, and I read her as a Genai, and she is a Genai. You know, and she doesn't have like, I mean, she also doesn't have like, you know, is much like the upfront like, you know, emoting.
But you know what, Ben? I was thinking about her. Like I was thinking in the interviews, she seemed engaged. Like
Yeah, I mean, that is true. She did.
yeah,
I mean, you could
Teshia
tell.
Torres was also engaged too, actually. But I think like was there a lot of like emoting with Teshia Torres? I think there was some at least with.
Yeah, I mean, the second interview, it really stood out to me. The first one, I was kind of wishy-washy. The last one, like, was really weird to me. I mean, that's where I was starting to doubt myself whether she was Genai. So now I'm just kind of like, I mean, I'm still strongly considering Naishi, but I don't know, I'm still leaning towards Genai.
You know what? You know what, guys? I think she might be both Mojos. I'm just kidding.
She's the first known high.
You want to just call this it's a split decision?
Yeah,
'Cause
we may just split this one down the line.
We're gonna
We
have
should
to
take
put
a
this.
I'm definitely still leaning nice.
We take a vote. We
Well,
should take a vote.
We don't even need.
I don't want to.
we may as well not take a vote. I mean,
Yes, and Coach will
Yeah.
tell us what
I
it
want
is.
a split decision and get the results because I don't think I'm going to move off of Naiji until somebody can
Okay.
give me an
Okay.
answer definitive.
All right. I'm not sure either way, really. I'm 50-50 on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does everyone want to just call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Corrections is not really comfortable. Okay. All right. Coach, we're ready. Yeah, I said we're ready.
Okay, what do you got?
We're still really undecided with her and kind of gone down to a split decision.
I think this is the first time we've had like so much indecisiveness towards.
Coach
like,
looks so happy right now.
You guys are doing great. I'm really enjoying this process. And it's fun. It's really fun sharing these bubbles with you. Like I love to have people to share it with you. It's so cool. So also,
Yes,
you know,
that's true.
Oh no.
Oh no!
We're not gonna get the answer.
The suspense is killing me.
No.
Next week, guys, was the worst time to.
No, seriously.
This is killing me.
Murphy's
What a
Law.
horrible time for this to happen.
No, seriously.
I'm so on the edge of my seat with this one.
Okay. So do you guys have anything you want to call it?
No.
What's that?
Y'all froze.
What was that, Glenn?
You froze.
Oh.
We didn't get the answer.
I don't think they revealed it yet.
I don't think they revealed it yet, but we were just letting you know you froze for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
You're freezing.
And they're frozen again.
Wait, you didn't get the answer?
To be continued, guys. To be continued.
Don't say that, Mike, please.
Yeah. You guys just sit on that read.
To be continued. Too bad. Get out of here.
Can everyone just call it?
Next week.
Happy trails to you.
Frozen in suspense.
Until we meet
I
again.
kind of like go. I mean, I have things to do. I don't really. I have
Yeah.
homework to do tomorrow.
I need to know, and then it's.
Maybe we should just pull an all-nighter here. Just
Yeah.
hang out until they finally get back.
Wake me up when they regain connection.
They're moving again.
They're
They're
moving.
moving.
Okay.
What? Call that.
Are you alive?
Now you're alive. Okay,
I just hear stutters.
What?
They're gone.
Okay, let's not. Maybe we're like moving around too
We
much.
guys need to be.
I don't think
Yeah,
we
let's
have
just stay
anything to do with
still. Just
it, Truthfully.
maybe if we stay still, they'll move.
Gabe is just like, you guys.
Let's just stay still.
Yeah, everybody stay still and quiet.
Well, that didn't work.
What is going on?
Oh, I heard a demon.
Maybe we should just ask them to email us the answer. And
I
we
heard a
can just
demon.
end it.
I heard a demon. I heard a
Or
demon.
just type it in the box.
Oh, he says type our answers.
Okay.
I don't know. The chat's not updating, so I don't know if they're typing.
Okay.
Oh, you're not getting the chat? They're not getting our answers.
Um,
Oh, wait, are you getting
They're
them?
moving. They're moving. They left group.
Ah.
They
Don't
just
move.
left.
Oh my. Now what? Ah.
Pretty much.
No.
Oh, they're here.
There he is.
No worries.
They're like, we're not going anywhere.
No, because we're in suspense here. It's about to kill us.
Oh my gosh.
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yep,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, so what are you
Yeah.
guys' answers?
Um.
I'm gonna say Naiji.
I'm gonna say Jinai.
I'm saying Ginai.
Okay. Some of us are like kind of undecided.
What's
I'm
that?
undecided.
Okay,
I have
that's
no-
fine.
I have no
I'm gonna have
answer
to
either
say
way.
Naiji. A little, but it's like by like the thinnest hair.
I'm leaning a little more towards Naiji. I'll say that. If I had to choose, I would probably go Naiji then you. But I'm not at all sure.
It's like for
I feel like I might be.
That's cool. I don't want you guys to force it. So whatever firmness you're
Yeah.
good at, leave it at that. I'll just go ahead and say the answer is Jinai.
Ah!
So
totally
this is
saw it.
a new bubble for us.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Well, at least we got
At least we got the answer.
What this time we got
Good
the-
night, guys.
I knew it was
That's
a
all, folks.
Darn. Man, she's good.
Hang on.
She has gravitas.
She's a Genii.
She has gravitas.
Oh
She's
my
totally
god.
Gravitas.
She
Gravitas.
has a good.
Self-possessed. Self-possessed.
I think that's fair to say she's self-possessed. That was on 9's side.
Maybe she's just
Cool.
tired.
Can you
and
guys
all-
hear us?
Yeah, well now we
Yeah.
can.
Now we
Hey,
Frozen for
Hey,
a few
now we're
minutes
here.
there.
Okay. So we're thinking that this is probably a good place to call for tonight.
I think
Yeah.
so.
I think so.
It was fun,
Okay,
though.
great
Really
job.
fun today.
It was very fun session, and you guys got some nice scores on the
Quiz?
Quizzes? Yeah.
and
I see.
samples
Most of us did. Yeah.
the Nijez pipeline tomorrow.
Yes.
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 Cool. And then for the Naiji, are we on for Tuesday? Is that the plan?
Can
I'm
everyone
good
make Tuesday? I can make Tuesday.
Okay.
I think so, based on what everyone said, that everyone can.
Yeah.
It's good for you
Okay.
too, Gabe, right?
We'll go ahead and confirm that.
Yeah, I think I could do something.
All right.
All right, I gotta get going.
Everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
All right, see ya.
Good session.
An amazing,
Have a good night,
amazing
everybody.
night.